My name is Arthur Whitmore. I'm 90 years old. Tonight I made soup, the kind my son used to love when he was a kid. I don't cook much anymore. My hands don't move the way they used to. But today felt different. I thought maybe he'd come by. So I started early, cut the vegetables slowly, let the broth sit longer than it needed to. I even set the table. 4 chairs. I only needed 1. It's quiet in this house, not the peaceful kind. The kind where you can hear the clock thinking. 7:30, that's when I called him. Daniel. It rang and rang, then it stopped. No answer. I waited a minute, then I called again. Same result. By the 3rd time, I already knew. Still, I called anyway. Sometimes you don't call because you expect an answer. You call because you hope you're wrong. A message came in. Dad, we sent someone to check on you. You don't need to cook, just let them handle things. I read it twice. Then I locked the phone. I didn't need help. I needed him. The soup was still warm. I turned the heat lower, just enough to keep it from going cold too fast. Old habit, I guess. I sat down, then stood up again. Checked the window. Nothing. Sat back down. It's strange how a house can feel too big and too small at the same time. I looked at the chair across from me. Still empty. He lives 20 minutes away. 20 minutes. But tonight, that distance feels like another country. I picked up my phone again. No missed calls, no new messages. Just my reflection on the screen. I barely recognized him. I told myself he's busy. He has work, a family, responsibilities. I understand that. I really do. Because I used to say the same thing. I leaned back in the chair and listened. Tick, tick, tick. And for a moment, I had the strangest feeling. Like I had been here before. Not in this chair, not in this house, but in this silence, waiting for someone who wasn't coming. I don't remember the exact year. That's the thing about certain memories. They don't come back as dates. They come back as moments, fragments. I remember the office. Glass walls, cold light, everything always moving, even when nothing really changed. Back then, I believed something very simple. If I slowed down, everything would fall apart. Money, security, the life I was building. I didn't grow up with much, so when things finally started working, I held on tight. Too tight. My phone used to ring all the time. Clients, partners, deadlines, and sometimes Mom. I would look at the screen for a second, then flip it over face down. I told myself I'd call back later. Later was always a safe word. It sounded responsible, temporary, harmless. I didn't realize how permanent later could become. There was one message. I remember that one. Not because it was different, but because it wasn't. We made your favorite soup. That's all it said. No pressure, no guilt, just an invitation. I read it and I smiled. Then I locked the phone. I was in the middle of something important. At least, that's what I told myself. I thought providing was enough, that if I worked harder, everything else would take care of itself. I thought being responsible meant being absent for the right reasons. There was another night. I came home late, suit still on, shoes still on, mind still somewhere else. And I saw him, my father, standing outside the door. He wasn't knocking, just standing there, like he wasn't sure if he should come in. I opened the door halfway. "Dad, I have people over." It wasn't even true. Not really. But it was easier than explaining why I didn't want to be interrupted. He nodded, small smile, the kind that doesn't ask questions. Then he stepped back and walked away. I didn't stop him. I told myself there would be another time. There always is until there isn't. Most of my memories from those years feel efficient, clean, or productive. But when I look closer, there are gaps. Spaces where something should be. Conversations that never happened. Dinners I don't remember attending. And people I thought would always be there. Back then, I didn't call it loss. I called it life. The house feels quieter now, not because anything changed, but because I'm listening. I didn't used to notice silence. Back then, there was always something louder, deadlines, phones, voices that needed answers. Now, it's just this, the clock, the hum of the refrigerator, and the sound of waiting. I stand up and walk to the window. A car passes by. For a second, I think it might be him. It isn't. I don't feel disappointed, not anymore, just familiar. I go back to the table. The soup is still warm, barely. I lower the heat again to the same way I used to, without thinking. That's when it hits me. Not all at once, just pieces. A kitchen, smaller than this one, warmer. Someone standing by the stove, checking the door again and again. I see her now, not clearly, but enough. My mother. Waiting. The memory doesn't come with sound, but I know what she was thinking. He'll come. Just a little later. I pick up my phone again. Look at the screen. Nothing. And suddenly, I've heard this silence before. I just didn't recognize it when I was the one creating it. There's a message from earlier. My grandson, Ethan. "I'll come by later, Grandpa." Later. I stare at that word longer than I should. It feels familiar, like something I've said 1,000 times. And suddenly, it doesn't sound harmless anymore. It sounds like distance. I sit down slowly. The chair across from me is still empty. But now, it doesn't feel like an accident. It feels like something that's been happening for a very long time. Something I didn't notice. Because back then, I wasn't the one waiting. I used to think that love didn't need to be taught. That children just knew. That somehow they would understand what mattered without anyone having to show them. I believed that for a long time. I thought if I worked hard enough, if I provided enough, if I made sure they never had to struggle the way I did, everything else would take care of itself. That presence was optional. That absence could always be explained. I told myself I was doing it for them. Every late night, every missed dinner, every call I didn't return for my family. And maybe, in some ways, I was. But there's something I didn't understand back then. Children don't learn love from what we say. They learn it from what we repeat, from what we make normal, from what we allow to happen again and again without stopping it. I didn't notice it happening, not when I ignored the calls, not when I said, "I'll call later," not when I chose something else over sitting at that table. It never felt like a decision. It felt necessary, responsible, like I was doing the right thing. But habits have a way of teaching without asking permission. They repeat themselves quietly until one day they don't feel like choices anymore. They feel like truth. And then one day, those lessons come back. Not as memories, but as people. The way they speak to you, the way they don't. The way they make time or don't. I look at my phone again. Still nothing. And for the first time, I don't feel confused. I don't feel unlucky. I don't even feel angry. I understand. I didn't just miss those dinners. I didn't just ignore those calls. I didn't just choose work over being there. I taught something quietly, consistently, over years, without ever meaning to. I trained them to live without me, the same way I lived without them. This isn't punishment, it isn't bad luck, and it isn't something that just happened. This is something that was built over years, over choices that felt small at the time, choices that didn't feel like they mattered, until they did. This is not neglect, this is inheritance. The house is darker now. I didn't notice when the light faded, or maybe I just stopped paying attention. The soup is still there. I don't touch it. It doesn't feel like food anymore, just something that waited longer than it should have. I sit there for a while, not thinking, not remembering, just being here. The clock keeps moving. It always does. It doesn't stop for moments like this. I reach for the drawer beside me. There's an old phone inside. I don't even remember why I kept it. Maybe some part of me didn't want to let go. It takes a moment to turn it on, longer than it should. My fingers don't move the way they used to. The screen lights up. Old messages, old numbers, names that don't exist anymore. I scroll slowly, not looking for anything. And then I stop. Voicemail. I don't remember saving it, but I know exactly what it is. I press play. "Hi, sweetheart. I just wanted to hear your voice. That's all." The message ends. No music, no goodbye, just silence. I don't replay it. I don't need to. I already know how it sounds. I sit there, holding the phone, and for the first time, I don't try to explain it away. I don't tell myself there was a reason or that I didn't know better. I did know. I just thought there would always be time. That's the thing about time. It doesn't take people away. We leave each other. Slowly, quietly, in ways that don't feel important until they are. I look at the phone one last time. No new messages, no missed calls, nothing has changed. But something has. I understand now, and somehow that feels heavier than regret. Because regret still believes something can be fixed. Understanding knows it can't. I set the phone down. The house is quiet again. But this time, I don't wait.